Somebody else said it, because if I said that, nobody's going to listen. But it will something like flashback with all the presentations. Okay, so my focus will be on resilience in this topic. How digital tools shape teacher resilience, insights from bibliometric and citation analysis. Okay, I know at the end you're going to ask me some questions, so before that I will start by asking some questions myself. Using digital tools, these were gathered by my students who I'm working with on this topic, and these were some of the questions that came up. Do I need to be apologetic? So that they say your speech comes from ChatGPT or any other AI tool, do you need to apologize? Am I worried that using digital tools too much will lead to a dependency syndrome? It's almost like crutches and you refuse to leave it. Without it, you cannot start on your thesis, your speech, your research paper. It's almost like the starting point. Do I feel guilty about relying on technology for delivering lessons or lectures? We found that some of them do, some don't, some have mixed feelings. Am I anxious that students might perceive me as not fully competent in the digital world? Some of them are way in advance of their teachers or lecturers or instructors. Some of them, the really expert ones, they can even teach you how to use ChatGPT so that it does not detect that it comes from ChatGPT. So there are various strategies they have, and one of them was mentioned by one of the speakers just now, that you translate it to another language, bring it back, all right, and then use another tool to paraphrase it. So there are about 5 layers, and after the 5 layers, it's very difficult to detect. Do I feel like I'm judged for using digital tools that are considered outdated or not as advanced as my students? One of the students showed how ChatGPT and the close competitor now, I believe you heard about that just now, it was spoken about. Are they using the most advanced tools? Sometimes the students are way advanced. Okay, so coming back, the word resilient. The word resilient itself, is it a compliment if someone tells you you are resilient? Definitely a positive trait. It reflects a person's ability to recover from setbacks, challenges, unexpected news, from the kind of situation they did not expect they will be in, uncharted waters, potentially embarrassing situations. Okay? So is it positive all the time? Sometimes calling someone resilient can be a compliment if it's done in a way that acknowledges their capabilities, but not dismissing their need for support. So some people are labeled as resilient and they get less assistance because they are considered self-sufficient, they can make it on their own, they can somehow cope. So being resilient doesn't mean that you deny assistance or help, or you should be denied help or assistance to strengthen whatever you're doing. So, coming back to the topic, teacher resilience and digital tools. It's a very important element of education. It's there to stay. We cannot escape this. It became concrete in the 1950s itself when the term was introduced, and it has taken various shapes and forms. So with digital tools becoming an inseparable part of modern learning environments, the topic of teacher resilience too has become something, it has gained currency. And a lot of research is being done now on this topic. So I'll run through this briefly. Those of you who have done bibliometrics, you'll be quite familiar with what we normally do. So I'll just skim through this. So it was taken from Web of Science, that was the database. So things like citation analysis, author, journal metrics, citation reports, and so on. We did that. And then we used some key search terms, and that is followed by the number of scholarly journal articles, and it was analyzed systematically, teacher resilience and digital tools. So there were many of this, so very colorful, but it's, what do you call that? It tells you the story without actually having to read too much, and the colors carry meaning, and the strength of the relationship you can see through the thickness of the line. So these are some of the findings regarding the teacher resilience and digital tools. The number of publications have been increasing. My co-researcher is doing up till 2024, but at that time when we got this done, it was till 2023. But the trends were somewhat similar. So you can see the trend from the year 2018 with 118 and 2023 217 articles, and a dramatic increase in the number of publications from 2021 till 2022. And it was something like impetus, catalyst, COVID-19, where digital tools and its use became widespread. It was used in educational institutions, schools. Right, let us have a look at this. These are some of the prolific authors which, with their citations. So it's by alphabetical order, B, H, S, and T. So the link strength is shown there with the author by the name of On, 2018. So what was the research focus? If you look at the extreme right, digital tools in education, teacher training, and then you have integration of digital pedagogy in classroom teaching, then enhancing student engagement through digital learning tools, and as well as gamified learning. So the link here, link strength, is how strongly different research papers, authors, or journals are connected based on shared references, citations, or co-authorships. So let us look at the impact of digital tools on teacher resilience during COVID-19. So there are three main areas: psychological resilience, professional development, and student engagement. So there are positive impacts as well as challenges on all three. So if you look at psychological resilience, so you have improved adaptability, less burnout because of tech support, but it also could be the other way around, as the first speaker had pointed out in the afternoon session: increased stress due to lack of digital literacy. I feel that I am on a steep learning curve because I belong to the baby boomer generation. So things move at a very fast pace. I was quite impressed with the baby in the room. I did observe how adept she was with the keyboard and her laptop, and 100%, 100 upon 100 for concentration. Professional development, so you have access to online resources, flexibility in teaching approaches, and then limited professional support in low resource settings. So for you to refer to a mentor or somebody who knows better, or to address certain problems. One of the things with the training courses is they believe everybody is in the same starting point. Some are very adept, some know it very well. For others, every step, step by step, if you have lost them in the third step or fourth step, forget it. The next 20 or 30 steps will be meaningless to them. So part of the problem with this professional development is the assumption that everybody is on the same starting point. So some of this became problematic. So student engagement, increased engagement with interactive tools, okay? The challenges, difficulty in maintaining engagement in remote settings without training. One of the problems that teachers told was that they really do not know how to engage the students when they use these platforms. The students sometimes are very smart. They put something there that looks as though they are paying attention. Actually, they are not there. And then at the end, they are back again. So they find it hard to motivate them, get them interested, be committed, understand what they are saying. So many challenges. So some of them in the online environment, they are facing a lot of challenges. So some prefer to go face to face. They say that's the best way to get their attention. So some analysis about the keyword co-occurrence analysis. So 3 major themes came across: digital tools for teacher development, learning and digital education, and student engagement through digital tools. So digital tools for teacher development. Under this, yes, it supports the teachers, but how does it help? Teacher resilience supports teachers in overcoming challenges of online learning. Adaptability helps teachers adjust to new teaching environments and contexts, because some of them earlier on were only used to face-to-face teaching. And online is something like a supplement, not complementing, just a supplement. Okay, you do that. After classes, maybe you can use these resources. And improve teaching, enhances teaching strategies so that they are more effective. Learning and digital education. So, how does digital tools help? So, access to education. Digital education provided continued access to learning when physical schools were closed, and it was extended after the classes were reopened. Many of them found the benefits too of online classes. Some of them introduced as a compulsory component of their courses. So maybe out of 3 hours, maybe 1 hour has to be done using online resources. And teachers had to adapt using these digital tools to continue teaching. So it required flexibility. For those who feel face-to-face is the one and the only one, the best one, they too had to have rethink and revisit their practices. So, student engagement through digital tools. So, more and more of this, more students are using digital tools for a lot of things: learning, writing assignments, even preparing speeches, active participation. So, for some of the students, it makes learning more engaging. They participate actively, they are involved, it's student-centered, and teacher resilience. So, the more engaged the students are, of course, the less stress. As teachers, we would want everybody to be engaged, the students. So, what about adapting digital tools in assignments? There are certain trends. There's a prevalence of digital tools and its use. The trend shows that it's increasing. Monitoring and keeping track. How do you monitor whether it was copied? Whether it was copied wholesale? Whether it was intelligently adapted, even though the student hardly knows anything? What do you do when suddenly the student has a spike from English that was incomprehensible to highly academic English? And the impact on learning could be difficult to determine, because the AI or the tools can either be facilitators or barriers. They can facilitate if there is their own input. They make use of it in a way that is helpful, but they do the thinking, so it is used creatively. They have their share in it, not totally depending on the tools. But if they copy too, there is another problem. That is, how exactly do you decide what is copying? And this dilemma stays on. Exactly what do you do? So this is from MIT Management. You can go to their website. So a bit of the action plan. All right. So this is the usual thing that we all do, but it's just put in a more systematic way. You can review your students' backgrounds, goals, and interactions, likely interactions. So know your students. And then learning outcomes, what students should know, understand, or be able to do at the end of the lesson. Assessments. This will be a challenge because the way the assessment is done can help you to reduce direct copying. It takes a lot of effort to come up with assignments where the student is not able to take everything from the AI, digital tools. And the activities must be such that they build upon what the students know, bring in their experiences, reflective practices. When you have this kind of activities, then it will help to minimize or reduce copying. And we have to understand something else. What generative AI can't do is thinking. It takes the database, it makes inferences, deductions, but the thinking still comes from what everybody else has thought about. It's free of emotions, understanding, or empathy. So something about the future research and directions based on the trends. There are challenges, of course. So these are some of the future research areas. Integration of AI in teacher education, long-term studies on teacher resilience and digital literacy in developing countries. The rationale is given on the right. The integration of technology, the infusion is only going to increase. At this stage, it's no point talking about going back to the good old days where we will only use face-to-face. To avoid this, or start having those exams we used to have in the past. You cannot refer to anything and then you write this long essay. We need long-term studies, tracking to see what is happening, why there's burnout, why some teachers are not resilient, and low resource settings. There are some settings which you can consider as under-resourced, where you have a lot of issues, no experts to refer to, no experienced people, no proper guide, and a one-size-fits-all will be a bit difficult to work. So, conclusion, it has helped a lot the teachers in their profession, in professional development, in access to knowledge, the time when they can communicate with their students. But resilience will be very important because of the technological advancement, which is at a very rapid pace, and teachers will have to keep pace and try to be ahead of their students. So that's it, gentlemen. Thank you very much for providing this platform.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Again, you have to save questions for the break. Thank you so much. I'd like to invite the last presenter for the session and remind people about the time.